Horror Movie Talk podcast is brought to you by titties. They might not make the movie much better, but they certainly can't make it any worse. Smack 'em, slap 'em, treat 'em with care and kindness. Titties. To get your fair share of milkers, go to titties, TIDDIES.com/statedroopers and enter HMT at checkout for a free motorboat.
Boobs, boobies, tits, titties, tig-old biddies, machines.
Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk.
An opinionated and accidentally funny horror movie review show. Go, 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 go.
Just took a stroll through the scraggly woods. He had no face! Horror!
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it.
New theatrical releases always get priority.
But we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible.
Wow, that didn't sound good.
Guys ready? Morning ready?
Good morning, everyone. And welcome to Horror Movie Talk. I am Professor David Day, the foremost expert in scare no-nos, and that's
Blocked
Drain Hansen, who holds a PhD in spookology. Today, we have a great show for you guys. I'm super excited about this one because it's right down my alley. But first, I'm going to tell you to check out our website at horrormovietalk.com. From there, you'll find links to all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Reddit. Check out our Reddit to talk with us. More and more people are doing that now. It's becoming kind of a thing. I like it. We also post episodes on YouTube. So make sure.
If you want to post stuff to our subreddit, feel free to do that too.
Yeah, go nuts. Keith does it. Our blogger posts blog-worthy content on our subreddit on a semi-regular basis, and he has some pretty interesting thoughts, and he loves to talk with people about it. I talk to him fairly frequently about horror movies, so check it out. We do post new episodes every single Wednesday, so make sure to subscribe and leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts. You guys, I'm going to share a little bit of why we've been begging about the reviews on Apple Podcasts. Just going to break it down real simply and real succinctly for you here.
And it's not even reviews, it's ratings.
Right,
just
sure.
Clicking on the stars. That's all we're asking.
And the reason for that is we would like to be featured on Rotten Tomatoes. And Rotten Tomatoes has open enrollment only 2 times a year, and they're spaced out, obviously, 6 months apart. And the next open enrollment for that is September. So we have to get 200 ratings to be eligible to become a Rotten Tomato critic. And we have to do that this summer before September. And so if you guys can help us achieve that goal, that's why we keep asking.
Yep.
And so do that, and we will be forever appreciative. Today we will be talking about The Lodge, which is on IMDb, it's listed as a 2019 release, but really I think practically it hit theaters in 2020, right around the same time, right around January. We will start out by giving a brief review and our score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a miserable dredge where it makes you angry you had to watch it, 5 being an average enough film that hits all the expected marks, and 10 being so good that it transcends genre boundaries. After that, we'll give our score and get into spoilers and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film. Later in this episode, ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 things that are going to happen that I'm very excited about. One, in the mid-roll, don't miss the mid-roll, because I am going to be sharing a very fun metal song that I enjoy from I believe it's a one-man band. Forgive me if it's not. Called Alex Jones' Prison Planet, which is a play. They take a bunch of quotes from Alex Jones, the
insane conspiracy theorist.
Insane conspiracy theorist, and they
turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Yeah, and they turn the friggin' frogs gay, and it's just a blast. It's kind of a parody on Alex Jones and kind of makes fun of him, but so if you're an Alex Jones fan, you'll probably like it because it's a great song anyway. And then later in the episode, we'll also be doing horror or porno, which is one of my favorite bits that we've ever done. And so you guys should definitely stick around for the end of the show. So as I said, this week we watched The Lodge, which is a movie that is heavy in tone and aesthetic. And it went to great lengths to disguise the danger and keep the audience guessing as to what or who may be behind the nefarious details of the story. So without any further ado, let's get into the trailer.
So, how would you feel about going to the mountains for Christmas with Grace? She really wants to get to know you guys.
That's our mom's hat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You okay? I don't want to leave you here with the kids if you're not feeling up to it.
I'm feeling fine. It was my idea, and it's a couple days. I can do a couple days.
Okay, guys, I'm off. Have fun.
What is that?
It's Grace.
Everyone committed suicide except for her.
Repent, and you will find salvation.
Guys! Things are very uncomfortable between us, and we're stuck in a house together. What is this? The power's out. Where are my things? It makes no sense. What? I heard something.
Repent. Repent your sins.
Hello? Did you do that?
We didn't do anything.
We're leaving.
What are you talking about? Look outside. We're stuck here.
Mother, damn it, please help me. It's okay. Trust me. You have nothing to be scared about.
Lots of scary clicky sounds and creepy noises.
The creepy noises in that trailer, I don't remember that being in there anything in the movie that would correlate to those noises.
Shut up, idiot. Yeah, just a little taste. The Lodge can be found on Hulu for the cost of subscription, and Amazon and YouTube for a couple of bucks. The Lodge is a story of two families, both with tragic past, that meet to determine who has it worse. We have the Hall in one corner. We have the Hall family, who are a fractured family of four. Father Richard, played by Richard Armitage. Mother Laura, played by Alicia Silverstone. Older son Aiden, played by Jaden Martell. And younger daughter Mia, played by Leah McHugh. See what they did there? Just not very far off from anybody's name except Alicia. Laura.
Well, her real name is Laura. I just made that up.
Okay. Laura and Richard have clearly been taking a long break from their marriage, and this has treated Laura much worse than it has Richard. In the other corner, we have Grace, played by Riley Keough, who is the only surviving member of a now dead death cult, which just so happened to be led by her father. Needless to say, both of these families have their fair share of problems. As the story unravels, the audience is left guessing as to what and where the danger may be coming from, but the tension in this is undeniable. Did you have a good time with this movie?
I have a feeling that you liked a lot more than I did.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I really wasn't that into it, to be honest.
And were you tired?
I mean, yeah. I mean, this was like the second movie that I watched last night, but
You watched both of these movies last night? You irresponsible dickbag.
what, how's that irresponsible?
Well, anyway.
No, I mean, I wasn't like falling asleep. Like
Right.
This is not the least that I've paid attention to a movie, but it still didn't really hold my attention that much. This is a slow movie.
Yeah, it's a slow burn for sure.
Yeah, and it's not, I don't know, we'll get into it in spoilers.
Yeah, so my short review is, well, it starts with Dustin Goebel, our resident artist who fucks hard. He suggested this movie, saying it was right in our wheelhouse, which should tell you how good Dustin is at reading my mind. You can talk to him about his horror preferences. He has a specific aesthetic that he seems to enjoy as well. The Lodge is a very interesting movie for a lot of different reasons. It's interesting to me anyway. The directors, Severin Fiala and Veronica Franz, made a lot of wonderful choices that put this squarely in my favorite movies of 2019 box. It may be a contender against Midsommar for my favorite movie of 2019 if it counts as a 2019 movie.
Really?
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this a whole lot. The framing and location choices were bleak, cold, and clinical. This is an easy movie to compare to Hereditary based on many of the filming and set styles used. Lots of the shots are on the pretentious side of artistic, and that's just fine by me. I love that shit. The mood was mostly sad and strangely dangerous, with the story constantly dangling danger at the periphery of the audience's vision, but never quite letting it come fully into the light. It was always just kind of out of reach. There's lots of allusions to danger and coincidences in this slow burn thriller to keep any hardcore thriller fan happy, except for Bryce. While I had a good time with the movie, I must say the content is deadly serious and fairly heavy, which left me with kind of a gross taste in my mouth at the end. But for me, that's kind of part of the allure. Here at Horror Movie Talk, we are family people, and we've made it clear that one of the things that gets us the most in movies is the breakdown of the family structure. And The Lodge has that in spades. How did The Lodge strike you?
I am shocked at your score for this.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
This
is very similar to A Killing of a Sacred Deer in like feel and aesthetic. It's one of the things that I really enjoy is these art based. From everything from the score to the framing and the sets, everything's very intentional and heavy in aesthetic.
Yeah, it looks great. Some of the shots, it's a little more pretentious than I like, especially like just the random like close-ups that are looking down.
The Alfred Hitchcock shots.
Yeah, it doesn't really add anything to it. Like I don't really get what they're going for there, but it just didn't really do it for me. It might have been because I had high expectations. I've heard that a lot of this is like, this is another one of those, horror renaissance modern horror movies, like on par with The Witch and Hereditary and all them, and this honestly didn't even come close for me.
I'd compare this to Gretel and Hansel. This is a very, very similar in a lot of different ways. Anyway, it didn't strike you nearly as much as it did me.
It might have been just like I felt like I was getting blue balls a little. There's a lot of setup and a lot of material to work with, and they didn't do a whole heck of a lot with it. It's just like it could be anything.
Yeah,
what's like to explain what's going on, and what's going on like isn't really. It's honestly not that compelling for most of it.
Yeah,
to me.
Okay, and
then the payoff for it is like, bleh. I mean, it just didn't do it for me.
Man, the payoff was great for me.
I don't know. I don't know why it didn't hit me very hard, but yeah, I'm giving it a 4 for me.
Holy god damn. This is the biggest discrepancy we've had since Kuso.
Yeah, this is a big difference.
Wow. Yeah, I gave it a 9. This is almost perfect to me. It doesn't inhabit the upper echelon. It's not necessarily a 10 to me, just because it's not ultimately iconic, but it's very solid, and I enjoyed it a lot. A 4 and a 9.
I don't know. I mean, the 4 is probably just because I had higher expectations for it, but the amount of enjoyment I got out of it was, I mean,
a 4. Not
far enough away from the turning to make me feel happy, you know?
Yeah.
It is actually a lot like the turning,
I'm gonna get into that.
At very least, like, this didn't like shoot itself in the dick when it came to pulling off what it's trying to do.
My dick!
Like the turning did. But I think I might have given the turning a 4 too, which is really generous. Yeah, I mean, maybe this is probably a 5, actually. I'll give it one more point just because of my jaded assholeness. Is
putting
it at a 4.
next to The Prodigy? Ugh.
It's like the Prodigy version of an art house horror film. Like it's not compelling enough for me.
That's impressive.
Make it as
That's
interesting.
impressive because you've always said that the family unit breaking down is the scariest thing, and this is that in spades. It's 2 family units coming together to break down.
Well, the difference is like the family unit where they're together and they're operating well, and then the forces from outside destroy them. This one, like, they're not doing well from the outset, which is kind of more like Hereditary, but even Hereditary, there were like a operating family unit, and this one just felt like they're all strangers to each other. Like the kids and the father were like, all right. Anyways,
we're learning. I mean, we're at almost the 2-year mark as this episode airs for Horror Movie Talk Podcast, and I've learned a lot about myself and my taste doing this, and how much I do enjoy the cold, clinical, factual, and clean aesthetic and tones of movies. I really like that. It's seemingly a lot more than other people. But that's definitely me. And then, but I can't ever pin you down exactly. It seems, although I think I've pinned you down pretty well in, the one thing that's constant is your ability to put things off to the last minute. That's the only thing I got down about you.
You've never watched a movie on a Friday?
Oh, no, I certainly have. But, I mean, to be clear, earlier this week you were like, let's get Hellraiser recorded on Wednesday, and then we'll record and then we'll record. So I was like done with Hellraiser on Monday. And then I watched this on Thursday.
Right.
And you didn't watch either of them until the very end of the week.
Right. I mean, doing it, well, first of all, I said, like, maybe we could record an episode on Wednesday. Yeah. And you were like, I don't know. I don't know if we can pull that off. And then I kind of left it at there. So I thought I was going to confirm it, but you were ready, which is great. Thank you for doing that. And
no, this isn't, I'm not attacking you. I mean,
it feels like an attack.
I mean, you must
feels like an attack.
You must be able to concede that you're definitely.
Oh, I am way more of a procrastinator than you, no doubt. Like you.
That's the only thing I can pin down about your taste, for sure.
Today, you will have this done, the post on the, like, ready to go, scheduled by, like, probably by 4 p.m.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
And this episode doesn't come out for 2 weeks from date of recording.
Right.
Mine will be probably edited today, but the post won't be completely written until Tuesday night.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. It's just the way it is. And I mean, these are some of the things, you can set your watch to people, whether it's, Anyway.
Why do it now when you can do it later?
Good point. So with that, yeah, actually, that's a good segue. So if you were a patron of a certain tier, you would have been able to listen to this episode 2 weeks ago, along with Hellraiser as well. Well before it was released to the general public. We release episodes as soon as we get them edited, and that usually means a Saturday
for David's episodes,
a Saturday for David's episodes, and a
Sunday
Monday for Bryce's episodes, which is still 2 or 3 days early. Also on Patreon we have we have the Afterpod, which is a whole nother podcast where we talk about personal stuff. Yeah, we shoot the shit
and various like off-topic things. We try to keep it on topic with horror movie talk.
Yes, and furthermore, you get to vote on one movie per month with other Patreon members if you are the highest tier of Patreon members. So check out our Patreon. Support us if you can. This is a free show, and we do it for the love of horror movies, but also hopefully to be supported by our fans. So we sure do appreciate you supporting us. Also, you guys should check out localasfuckapparel.com, which is an apparel company that is just about as local as you can get. They're based out of our hometown of Vancouver, Washington, but their brand on all their shirts says Local AF, and their hats and all their stuff. They even got face coverings that say local as fuck. So, rep your Corona merch and tell everybody how local you are. If you head on over to their website, again, that's localasfuckapparel.com, and enter HMT at checkout, you get 10% off your whole goddamn order. Support them because they are going to be supporting us probably by printing our t-shirts, our Horror Movie Talk t-shirts, which will be available on our Horror Movie Talk shop. Right now, you can get stickers, and I think there may still be a coaster available or two on there if you check it out. So support the show that way too. We have a bunch of super cool stickers that some of them are our logo, some of them are our old logo, and some of them are art that Dustin Goebel, our resident artist who fucks hard, produces. And if you buy something that he's produced, then you can count on a portion of that purchase going to him. So, and you should probably check him out because he is a professional artist who fucks hard. He produces all the artwork for all of our episodes, and he also takes commissions for artwork from HMT fans. So make sure you contact him at dgoebel00. That's at DGOEBEL00 on Instagram, and make your artistic dreams come true. Tell him HMT sent you. And finally, we can't forget Shudder. If you would like to watch a bunch of horror movies and shows, Shudder is the place to do it, because at shudder.com, that's SHUDDER.com, if you enter HMT at checkout, you can get access to 30 free days of streaming horror content, all at your fingertips. Hellraiser was on there when we reviewed that. It probably still is. I don't know. Do your homework.
Yeah, there's lots of good stuff on there that are exclusive. They have their own self-created content that's really good too.
And so now I'm going to be premiering Alex Jones' Prison Planet. This is from the album Crush the Parasites. This is the song Crush the Parasites. And if you like it, go ahead and check them out and tell them that their content is hot shit. As I said, this is
in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. Or not. I mean, any news is good news, right? So without further ado, here is Crush the Parasites, or at least part of it.
You filth. You absolutely diabolical, deceiving scum. Dumbing this country down to the level of mindless jellyfish. I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap. I'm sick of being social engineered. It's not funny. You're parasites. You're scum. We don't go with anything you tell us anymore. They're just a pack of rats ready to do whatever it takes and sell their grandmother out to hell for a stick of bubble gum. Even a baby will fight for its life in the womb. Won't you fight for your life? Won't you recognize who these scum are? When you let people get spoiled rotten and live off of you, they end up becoming your masters and disdaining who feeds them. I know you're anti-American crooks at the top who are parasites that live off us. Parasites will be crushed. Fucking taste your weakness. Crushing, crushing, crushing. Crushing, crushing, crushing. Crushing, crushing, crushing. I'm in control now. You're a bunch of losers. And I love the fact Hollywood's imploding. And I love the fact your system's falling apart. And I love the fact you're so scared because you're scum and you come from trash. And you'll always be trash. I hate your guts.
That was Crush the Parasites from the album Crush the Parasites by Alex Jones' Prison Planet. I reached out to him or them on Facebook, asked if we could play that. They were like, yes, absolutely. So thank you so much. Anybody who says Slam is dead is a fucking R word. That's a great banger, and I just love it. This is one of the songs I listen to when I work out or run.
Is this a metal thing?
Yes. Bryce is nonplussed. But this is, man, I thank you for letting me play that. That's
actually nonplussed would be if I was astounded.
Okay. Now I'm nonplussed. Not in the astounded way. Yeah. So check them out. I love them. And if you hated it, let them know that too. So with that, thanks again for listening, and let's get into spoilers. Spoiler. Oh, yeah. Spoiler. Oh. I really want to play with it more than...
Oh, okay. Here,
No, we do. No. So I have written down here that I should read some more of my dad's sayings. I'll read one or two here. Mm-hmm. If you listen to our last episode, you know that my dad is he's incapable of expressing himself in words very well.
Man, I could definitely do this with my mom too.
Oh, really? Does she do this kind of stuff?
I've realized more and more that if she's asked a direct question, it's impossible to.
Oh yeah, you got it.
The answer is background information.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Let me tell you my life story. Well, I was born in March of 1954. Oh my God. I don't care. Yeah. So my dad is incapable of expressing himself correctly with words. So he comes to the table with a bunch of ridiculous bullshit. And,
I just remembered a really great one that my mom said.
Tell it. What's Bryce's mom?
So my dad, here's a bummer. My dad's dying. But so she was getting some medicine for him, and she was asking, he's getting ready to sleep. Should I give him the melanoma? And so I think you mean melatonin.
Yeah.
And then the people that were there were laughing, and my mom didn't get it. She's like, melanoma.
So give it to him
cancer.
then. So give it to him then, right?
So really, very much like transferring syllables and getting it mostly right.
Some of the ridiculous things that I love that one. That's right. Exactly in this wheelhouse. Some of the ridiculous things that my dad says. How big of a menu is it? Venue. How big of a he meant how big of a
menu?
Yeah, how big of a venue is it? He meant venue, but he said menu. He was close. He goes, boy, you got to have the hands the size of Twinkerbell. Need small hands.
Twinkerbell.
The aside on this is you need small hands to fix something that's detailed or intricate.
Twinkerbell. That's like the gay porno version of Tinkerbell, right?
Right. Yeah. Let's see here. So there was I'll set this one up. So his mom died, and many years ago, not many years ago, a couple years ago. And so family came in from all around the area, and they all needed a place to crash. So they were like, and the only people around here were her house and my house and my parents' house. And so they were all looking for somewhere to crash, and there wasn't enough room left at my house or my parents' house. So some people decided to crash at her house. Now, she had cats and dogs, and they just pooped all over the carpet, and my dad thought that was gross. So now it's all set up. So when I was like, well, there's no more room over at my house, he goes, well, they can just stay on the species carpet if they want to stay at grandma's house. He meant the feces carpet.
The species carpet. It still works, though. Species carpet.
Yeah.
Lots of species.
Yeah, it's
walking around on that carpet.
Bunch of species. He was talking about an Indian man, an Eastern Indian man at one point, and he said he's one of those Harish talking guys. I don't know what exactly that means, but yeah, I mean you get the general thrust of it, but it's definitely wrong.
It's like yeah,
Harish.
I'll leave it at that. It sounds like part of their language, so if you were to say like someone was Asian, you'd be like,
he's famously noted as saying he's always worked he's always employed Mexicans his entire life, and he's never bothered to learn Spanish, never. But his version is, take the El Trucko to the El Gas Stationo and fill her up-o to the topo. He says that to people.
Does he actually think that?
He says it without irony. The man has no humor. He's not a humorous man.
So you think that's like, it's close enough.
Yeah. Sometimes he uses the word mañana, trabajo, he knows work, and tomorrow. Yeah. We're going to work tomorrow. We're gonna trabajo mañana.
There we go.
Yeah. So that's his version. So anyway, The Lodge. So this movie starts out, it's really easy for me to compare the visuals in this to Hereditary because it feels like it steals a lot of the visuals from Hereditary and a lot of the ideas too.
Yeah. When did Hereditary come out?
2017?
17?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels like...
maybe it was 18. Yeah, it was 18. Yep.
Yeah, because that's been really early 18 then.
Well, I mean, we watched Hereditary in July of 18, or June of 18, and that's when we started the podcast. I promise.
Okay.
Yeah.
I felt like it took longer than that to start the podcast. Anyways, it's definitely before this, and so I don't know if it really was trying to imitate it or knew that this would be like a very welcomed aesthetic.
Yeah.
But it is very close to Hereditary in so much that it features a miniature dollhouse prominently for, in my opinion, no reason.
I mean, I think that, what do you mean no reason? So the dollhouse in this is an exact replica of the lodge that they end up going to. And all of the, much like Hereditary, all of the figures inside of it are little dolls that the kids play with. And strangely, the kids set up, or it seems as though the kids are almost like making voodoo dolls out of all of the people, because you see the scene take place and then you see it acted out in the dollhouse almost verbatim, right? So you see, and so to me, the dollhouse sets
or a
up,
more nefarious version of what you just saw.
Right. And so to me, the dollhouse insinuates that the kids are somehow manipulating people. It adds an element of, like, are the kids doing this?
That makes a lot of sense. I will concede that.
Yeah, because the whole movie is, well, the whole part, all the pieces with the dollhouse are basically like, are the kids manipulating people into doing these things, or are they just reenacting? And it's left very ambiguous. You never really get a true idea of whether or not they actually have powers, but
political powers.
I feel so bad for Alicia Silverstone's career now. It seems like she's relegated to, like, Alicia Silverstone is like, she was like the ultimate David crush as a kid. I loved her. Yeah. She was like this beautiful smile, those bright eyes.
Valley girl,
and just fucking, And now she's kind of relegated to, I mean, I love the movies that she's in, but she's relegated to being a pathetic middle-aged mom, hot mom. But so the two movies specifically I'm thinking about is The Killing of a Sacred Deer and this, in which she plays pretty close to the same character.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, mom, middle-aged mom.
Yeah.
Kind of pathetic. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things like, I mean, especially young starlets have a short shelf life. Yeah. And she's actually, the fact that she's still in movies and still able to get like some good supporting roles in some good movies, like she's doing pretty good. I mean, obviously could be doing better, but I mean, even look at like Megan Fox. What's she doing now?
Yeah. Right.
Like just not even on the radar. Like what's her next project going to be?
That's unfair, man. And
she's great. She's a great comedic actress in Clueless.
Oh yeah.
Like I almost wonder if like, I mean, that's the rough bit. That not only just being a young starlet, but being famous for portraying teenagers.
Yeah.
There's definitely like an expiration date on that to where like you got to really have like a really good project that breaks out of that. And the closest she got, I mean, the last big movie she was in was Batman and Robin, which was the just
nail in a coffin.
Awful movie for everyone involved. That was like,
except for Arnold.
Even then, it's probably the most embarrassing thing he's done in his career.
I don't know, man. Everybody chill. Cool party. Nice to meet you.
Oh man, it's tragic too. Joel Schumacher just died, and like on Reddit it was Joel Schumacher, director of Batman Forever movies. And I'm like, he's done so many great movies that like, man, I would not list. It's unfortunate that's what he's most known for.
Yeah.
And it was the most thorough misfire I've ever seen.
Dousing his legacy.
Just especially since it's following up Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah.
And he tries to go hard into like comic.
Yeah.
And that never works. Like every time they try to like pull in elements of comic books into a film, like, let's make it super cartoony, or let's use like these panels as, these, it's just, it just doesn't work. It's too hokey. Anyways,
Alicia Silverstone,
rip Joel Schumacher.
But Sandra Bullock though was able to. I think you hit the nail on the head. Alicia Silverstone portrayed teenagers,
right?
Sandra Bullock never did. But I think if Sandra Bullock gets this extended career, I think I would like to have seen what Alicia Silverstone's similar career could have been. But that may just be me. I'm a huge fan of her. Carrie gave me some interesting gossip, the unfounded. I did not check any of this, but about Alicia Silverstone, she goes, "Boy, Alicia's nutty." I was like, "What? What do you mean?" She's like, since COVID hit, apparently she follows her.
Mm-hmm.
Since COVID hit, she's been sleeping naked with her 8-year-old, and she had like admitted to it.
Why? What's the reasoning for that?
Who knows? This is one of those Jenny McCarthy sort of situations where you've just been sheltered from reality enough that you begin to believe that your own shit doesn't stink, and so it's like anything I do is good. I'm a mother.
Man, talking about like 90s actresses that have fallen since the 90s, like I can't think of anyone that's fallen further in my opinion of them than Jenna McCarthy.
Yeah, she's
Jenny McCarthy.
The whole inoculating your kids being bad thing doesn't play well with, I don't know.
Yeah, I think
logical people.
I'm
not saying anything. Don't cancel me.
I really liked her back in the day. Like, I thought she was really funny on the stuff that she did, and I thought she was really talented. And then it just went off the deep end.
Alicia Silverstone also was purported by my wife to have fed her little child like a baby bird by chewing up their food and then putting it into their mouth. So that's all the Alicia Silverstone stuff I have for you.
Well, she's not in this movie for very long.
No. So she takes the kids over to their dad's house, her husband's house, and she has a very short conversation where he's like, well, can we like just kind of finalize this divorce thing? And she's like, no, what's the rush? And he's like, okay, I'm going to put it to you straight. Like, I'm going to be marrying Grace, my girlfriend, in a couple months. And she just left. She just ducks out. She's like, okay, fuck you, bye. And she goes home, pours herself a glass of wine, and then shockingly, like, this scene, it blew me away. Like, it just came so out of nowhere to me. She just produces a pistol from under the table and blows her brains out just as fast as you can. It was like, and Carrie pointed out, like, bravo on not messing that up. Like, if you're gonna do it, don't fuck it up, you know? And she really nailed it. You know, there's a lot of flinching that could happen. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, it was a really shocking moment. That was like, I was like, you have my attention now.
Yeah, it really drove it all home.
It definitely, like, yeah, I was very intrigued from that moment on, and then it just didn't do it for me as much as that moment promised, you know?
So,
like, for Hereditary, it had the big tragic moment, and then it, like, delivers, like, in crazy ways at the end. That, like,
this is crazy to me. This is crazy, though. Hereditary delivers in crazy paranormal ways. This delivers in crazy real ways.
Right, real crazy ways. But even then, it's, like, pretty calm and, I don't know. So now the kids, they have her funeral, and you know, the kids are distraught, and they do. There's a lot of symbolic framing and stuff like that in this. And one of the moments that I just wanted to mention was at the funeral. They're all standing around a gigantic, like, monolithic cross, and they all let go. These black balloons.
They all have these black balloons, and they let them go.
I was chuckling the instant I saw them. I'm like, that's an interesting choice. Black balloons that I realized, like, I was thinking, like,
it's somber but hopeful.
Is this something that people do? And then it felt like, okay, well, maybe this mom, like, had this
balloon fetish
idea, and then, like, okay, but it's still super weird having these black balloons.
Not only is it weird, but it's disrespectful in a wide variety of ways. It's like, okay, you're fucking up the environment with a bunch of shit that can't break down. Black balloons they're not good. Like, you'd think you'd want them to be white. Everything about it seems off to me, but it was a moment that sticks with me. Anyway, so.
And the daughter ties her dolly to the balloon and lets it go, expecting it to float away, and goes, ka-thunk.
Yeah, which
is great.
Which then sets up her grief, because they're Catholic, and in the Catholic religion, it is believed. I believe. I'm not 100% on this, but if you commit suicide, you can't go to heaven.
Yeah.
And she is, and that's kind of a symbolic thing, you know. She tied the black balloon to her dolly of her mom, and the dolly doesn't fly away, so she doesn't get to go to heaven. And this girl is just hammered.
Man, you're making a lot more connections than I did. That makes a lot. You're speaking a lot of sense to me, because that makes a lot of sense.
This is why I love these movies. I love the puzzles that they present to you, and they don't smash you over the face with.
Yeah.
So this girl is just completely beside herself and distraught that her mom doesn't get to go to heaven, and that
is a great moment.
It cuts me so deep. It's like,
yeah,
because I remember those feelings when somebody would die. I'd be like, I wonder, when I did believe, I wonder if they're going to get to go to heaven. And it was so scary to think that they might not.
And it's so weird. And it's like it shows the cracks in organized religion when they have these like hard lines in the sand of, like, this is how it works. And then the thing happens that challenges that. And you're like, so wait, every baby that's not baptized is in hell now?
Right.
Well, yeah, but
kind of. It's like a waiting room. It's purgatory, so like maybe
that's what the scriptures say in our interpretation and everything that we teach every week. But we don't really know because they gotta it's a comfort in some way. You can't just be like, well, yep, your mom's in hell. She really blew it there.
And look, if you're a believer, I don't begrudge you any of this.
Right.
I've come a long way since my younger days of or less informed days of believing that religion was just a pox. I think it's a really good thing for a lot of different people and for a lot of different reasons. It just became unsustainable for me. But there are a lot of everybody struggles with their faith at some point. And this movie does delve into that at least a decent amount. So then we kind of smash cut to 6 months later. Aiden is the young boy, and he thinks Grace, his new soon-to-be stepmother, is a psychopath. He says so during a Thanksgiving dinner. And this Thanksgiving dinner is kind of interestingly, the framing for this shot is interestingly set up. They're having it outside. Uh-huh. There's 3 turkeys that they've hung, like fake turkeys that they've hung, and one real one that's sitting on the table.
See, I thought the ones that were hanging were actually real.
They might have been.
And I didn't realize that they could be fake until the flashback where it showed the mom with the turkey hat. But it reminded me, there's a thing where you can age birds. You can age all kinds of meat. And you can just let it break down and get a little gross. And that tastes good.
Yeah, it does. It adds a...
So I didn't know if that's what they were doing or not, but
it did. I think there's some symbology there. The 4 of them, 1 turkey they're about to eat, 3 that are hanging. Kind of, I don't know. I like the shot. So then the kids, to further this idea that Grace, their soon-to-be stepmother, is a psychopath. The kids watch this video of, I think it's Grace shooting this video.
Yeah.
And she's basically walking around the devastation of this death cult having committed suicide.
Yeah, it's very, if you're around my age, it reminded me a lot of the Heaven's Gate videos. Mm-hmm. Which is a death cult that there was the Hale-Bopp comet, and they believed that there was an alien spaceship in the tail of the Hale-Bopp comic.
What was that guy's name?
I can't remember.
I think it was David something or other.
Yeah. But even, I guess, there's actually surviving members of the Heaven's Gate.
Wow.
Their website's still current, I think. Which is crazy.
You can always tell somebody who's really off their rocker when you can see the whites of the top of their eyes, when you can see the white above their iris, when their eyes are so wide that you get to see the white all the way around the iris. That's actually, according to Dr. Drew, that's actually a thing. People who are
manic,
really manic, have the ability to basically show you the whites of their eyes. And that dude was nuts.
Yeah.
So Grace is, as a little girl, presumably shooting video footage of all these dead people in this death cult. And, she's the only living survivor. And her dad was...
Because she's a quitter.
Yeah, didn't follow through. And her dad was disappointed in her, I'm sure. He was dead, so he couldn't really be that disappointed.
Right.
And he committed suicide, so he wasn't in heaven. Anyway. So there's a lot. So this movie kind of builds up the reveal of Grace. We don't get to see her until this family is headed to their lodge for Christmas. Right. And
I love the setup for the trip, because the dad's like, hey, I was thinking we could go to the lodge for the winter and Grace could come with us. And his son's like, no, I don't want to do that.
No, that sounds awful. Why would I do that?
It's like, well, you can get to know Grace, and, I'm just telling you, we're actually going to get married. And it's like, ugh. He's like, no.
And he's like,
please no.
But son.
It's pretty thick.
She's not that thick. She's actually, she's beautiful. Yeah. But at this point, in the movie, she's been demonized so much that kind of as the audience, you're like.
You're expecting some extreme, some witchy woman or someone that's like gives off really crazy vibes, and she's just a pretty young woman.
Yeah, she's nice, and she's clearly trying. She's packed presents for the kids and her fiance, and she's not perfect by any means. She witnessed everyone she knew die of mass death.
You can't hold that against
cult suicide. No, you can't hold that against her. But it does.
If everyone is going to die in front of you, it's not like your fault,
right? Yeah. So they. So it seems like, though, she has some. The movie frames her as being scary because she does get nosebleeds around religious symbology at the start, anyway.
Yeah,
I start to feel like she's more normal throughout the movie, but it's never clear what exactly is going on. Where's the danger coming from? Why does it feel so ominous and dreadful?
You don't really know. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't reveal what her issue with the symbology is. If it's to a certain extent, it's like, it might be good to leave it ambiguous, but I would have liked to have a reveal of like, this is the teaching that this cult had about iconography or about like graven images or something like that, to where it's like, oh, she hates it because she still believes in her religion and she doesn't want that stuff around, or just like she doesn't.
Yeah, maybe it just reminds her of.
Or it could be, that like she wants to get away from religion of all kind and doesn't want to be reminded of it.
And it's set up, you have the flashbacks of her dad talking in front of a wall of crucifixes. Right. She was surrounded by very heavy religious symbology and suggestions her whole young life. So, and then it didn't end up well.
Yeah. So it kind of shows that she's secretive because she's not letting her fiance see that she's taking pills.
Yeah.
And that's a red flag.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really.
It's like, what are these pills for?
Yeah. I would have liked to. I mean, I guess like would like my hand held a little more. Like, it'd be nice to just be like, hey, she's got these pills. They're that's medication for.
Yeah.
Like psychopathy or this is for like schizophrenia or something.
Right.
Because you don't really.
It's insinuated.
It's almost like they're pills. They're anti-religion pills.
Gotta take my crazy pills.
Yeah. It's just very. It's like she takes the pills so that she doesn't believe in her religion anymore. And once she stops, she's like, oh, yeah, I'm in a crazy death cult again.
Well, so I'm going to.
Which didn't make that much sense to me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't show that she has. I mean, she has I'm
going to drop something on you that hit me about midway through the film. Did this hit you too? This is the turn of the screw.
Yeah.
This just is.
Yeah.
The turn of the screw.
It does it better than the turning, definitely.
Oh, my God. This is a total reimagining of it, obviously, with a different pretense for who and different characters and why they're all there. But nevertheless, the story is the same.
Yeah, very different ending.
Hardcore gaslighting. The hardest core gaslighting.
Yeah.
Of
with including literal gaslighting.
Yes.
Or gas heating, at least.
Yes, it is. Hang on.
Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is.
Yeah. This hit me about maybe halfway or 2/3 of the way through the film, where I was like, oh shit, this is just a really well done turn of the screw. And man, putting this up against the turning blows it out of the water. Well, I mean, then that's not hard to do. The turning was such a bad movie.
Yeah.
And this was very skillfully done, and it didn't tell me. I didn't know going in that this was going to be about the turn of the screw, the turn of the century tale of kids being watched by their governess to be, and then gaslighting her into oblivion.
Or do they?
Or do they? And that's what I loved about this movie was I was constantly like, are the kids doing it? No, because it's happening to the kids too. But that's exactly what but maybe she's doing it because she kept having, she had like these big,
like sleepwalking
events where she'd be walking through the house all night. And, you know, she's tortured by the demons of her past. So that's somewhat understandable. And then everything in the house. So Dad gets called by his work. And he's got to go. He's got to leave the lodge. I don't know why everybody didn't just leave. He's gonna leave his kids with a woman that they literally met a day or two ago, and expect things to be hunky dory.
Right.
Not a bunch of fights. That was a bad move on his part, but a very dad move nonetheless. And then things start getting fucking weird. All the possessions of everyone, all the personal possessions that they brought to the house in the car disappear.
Yeah, see, I would have liked to see like a couple moments in this movie to set it up a little better, because it felt out of character, because it's revealed that the kids hide everything, and like very close to the end of the movie.
Yeah,
like,
very, very close to the end of the movie.
And it feels like out of character for them. Like, it's never shown that they're ever tried to fuck with her.
But that's that's what I love about it gaslights you.
Yeah. And then the other possibility is that they were dead. They like had the gas heater and they suffocated and died. But it never sets that up of like,
oh, it kind of does. It's like, hey, there's a bunch of systems in this house that are obviously specific to this house, right? And that the owners of the house know how to work. If you've ever been to someone's vacation house, you know, they turn the water heater off and you got to flip this specific breaker to get the water heater on, and the oven, because the oven's otherwise the pilot light for the oven may burn the house down while we're gone for 4 weeks between the, you know, so it's like there's a lot of systems that she doesn't know how to work, and the kids do. I
think the other thing is, so how they're gaslighting is that they're trying to convince her that they were dead and they're in purgatory. And I would have liked some kind of scene where it showed the death cult leader talking about that, of just like purgatory or like death or like what. Because it seemed like there was some doctrine around that they were playing off of, but it's not set up. So it feels like arbitrary when it's revealed. It's like, oh, okay.
No, I hear you.
And I just don't care about it, because it's not either or, because it's like you don't understand what either or is until it reveals it.
Right. Yeah, you're definitely on to something. I would have liked to see, now that you mention it, I didn't realize that I would have liked to see that, but it would have been a good addition and probably would have kept more people on the line for longer. Yeah, so you alluded to this, but well, actually, I think I'll go back a little bit and describe some of what's going on. There's a moment where they're all sitting down, they're watching The Thing from John Carpenter's The Thing, and let's see here, what do I say about that?
Titties, boy looking, let's fuck.
Oh yeah. So I should mention that. So she gets out of the shower, and this was a moment where it was very helpful to have Carrie watching the movie with me. She was riveted by this movie as well. Uh-huh. But as she gets out of the shower, she puts the towel just simply around her waist.
Yeah, that struck me as weird, too.
It didn't strike me as weird at all. I was like, That's how you...
Yeah. I've never, ever seen a woman portrayed as putting the towel around her waist and not around, like, under her armpits.
Carrie was immediately incredulous. She's like, no woman gets out of the shower and puts a towel around her waist and doesn't cup the boobies.
Yeah.
I was like, how? Like, that's so... It's so...
Yeah, you wipe and you go...
She's
lift up the saddlebags and get underneath there.
Why? She's like, because you got boobs. I was like, Carrie, I have boobs. Like, I don't don't care particularly about the water on my chest.
Well, no, you don't have the folds.
She's like, well, the other thing is they're swinging all over the place. Got them big state droopers and, they're flapping around. And...
Calm your tits. No.
Chainsaw tits.
Don't touch my tits.
Yeah, so she gets out of the shower and she leaves her breasts
swinging,
flapping in the breeze, and the boy,
which I appreciate,
Aiden is
boobs, boobies, tits, titties, tiggle bitties, machines.
These may have been the best boobs ever witnessed on Horror Movie Talk. I would not.
Pretty great.
They were wonderful.
Pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Aiden gets a load of these puppies. He's very creepily staring at her from the corner of the room. Like,
come on, dude. Like, choose your angles.
He fades away. And she catches him and she's like, ew, this is gross. But then again, 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
Not surprising at all. If I would never have had the balls to do this.
Yeah. And she graciously lets it slide.
Lets it slide for a while. And then she's like, hey, so we're not going to talk about you looking at my boobs, huh? And he's like, he reacts exactly how a 14-year-old boy would, which is flabbergasted and not knowing what to say.
Yeah. Because you're a pervert and
prevert.
Feel embarrassed.
Yeah. And so so back to this moment where they're watching the thing. It's night. Everybody's getting cold. The Aiden brings a space heater, basically like a propane or a little gas heater, into the room, and she's like, "Hey, is this okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's fine. We're just cold." And so they all, but she importantly alludes to there's no danger of carbon monoxide poisoning. That's basically what the "is this okay" all about. And he's like, it's fine. Then they all fall asleep and they wake up and everything's gone. Mm-hmm. All their personal belongings are gone. And the kids couldn't have done it because their personal belongings are gone too, along with the little girl's Mia's dolls. Mm-hmm. And so eventually Aiden and Mia start asking the question, did we die in that space heater incident? We all woke up, there was a different channel on the TV.
The TV was off.
Our TV was off. The power was out. All the heating was off.
It is a pretty good setup for we're dead now. I felt like that was going to be...
There's a storm that won't stop.
Yeah, it's very felt exactly like the others.
Oh yeah, it did feel very much like the others. And so at this point, I was like, I was almost fully bought in that they were dead.
Yeah.
And because it just very much seemed that way. And
see, that's the other thing, is that I think they could have sold that a little better, because the reactions of the kids to Grace, they're pretty their reaction is like, she's acting crazy. Like, we know we didn't do it. So, what is going on? They're very, very, standoffish and weirded out.
They're great manipulators.
By Grace. And I feel like if you were going to manipulate someone, you would, kind of do it up a little more. You'd be like...
But not hamming it up kind of is hamming it up, though.
Yeah.
And they do enough stuff. For example, they really play on her past, right?
Yeah.
Because they talk about repent. They're like, maybe we're dead, and then one night she can't sleep because she has problems sleeping, probably because of the death cult, and she goes to the window and she looks out and there's this field of snow angels, just snow angel after snow, all lined up perfectly in a row out into the valley, and it's like that plays on her, all of the people that she knew dying in the death cult. And it's
it's weird because it mixes in a lot of hallucinations, and so it's really hard to figure out what's going on and what's her and what's not, and what's just color.
Yeah, if you enjoy the feeling of being gaslit, this movie is It does that pretty much constantly. And at this point, her dog runs away. She finds it dead. She's becoming more and more despondent and
because her pills are gone too.
Yeah,
that she takes.
Right. They took everything. They took all the personal effects. So the pills are gone, and now she starts kind of mentally spiraling too. And it all comes to a head when Mia, the little girl, screams upstairs. Grace goes upstairs to see what the commotion is about, and Aiden is apparently hanging like by the neck from the ceiling, and he looks at her and he's like, look, I tried to kill myself. I can't die.
Right.
We're clearly we're through the looking glass here. Clearly we're dead.
Right.
But the scene right after, and she can hear her dad's sermon, audibly playing in the background. And the scene right after that is, it all comes into focus. The movie tells you exactly what's going on. Oh, there's a harness that Aiden used to hang himself safely. And there's a Bluetooth player in the window that's playing the YouTube clip of her dad talking. So it's now we know, the kids have been gaslighting her.
Right.
But at that point, she's broken.
I think I didn't see the harness part.
Yeah, it was to one corner, and then the Bluetooth player was to the other.
I saw the stereo going. I didn't see the harness. And then it completely reveals it because the kids go down in some hidden basement and
pull apart some boards, and then there's all their personal effects and food. They took all the food out of the house too.
Yeah, it feels like could have searched a little better.
Yeah,
find all that stuff. And she took the kid's word for it that the generator doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the kid couldn't get it to work, so I guess there's no generator.
So at this point, she loses her shit, and the kids have dramatically underestimated how scary a person who is
insane,
had a mental break is. And so now the kids are like, ooh, maybe we don't want to be trapped in this house with this person who we've pushed over the edge. And so they try and get the generator running. They try and give her stuff back, but she's
already over the edge,
fully gone. And it really takes a dark turn at this point where she's, self-flagellating. She's hurting herself.
Kneeling on coals.
And really bought into this, I must repent.
Yeah.
It's time for us all to go to.
That's the other thing is I wish they would have, if they're going to use the religious cult so thoroughly, I wish they would have set up more of the doctrine of this is what you need to repent for.
Yeah.
Or this is what you're doing wrong. Because it's just a general blanket statement of you're sinning, you need to repent. It's
that is unsatisfying. And it's a through line on a lot of these religious movies where it's general repent. And it's but can we? And it's
there can be very specific things that you can be guilty of, and it's not even not even specific things, general things you took part in the world, you drank alcohol, or you listened to music or you danced, all these things could be labeled as sins in any given religion, in mainstream religions.
It's what Hereditary, The Witch, Midsummer, even The Lighthouse. It's what all these really great movies do, right? They go, in Hereditary, he feels guilty because the brother is essentially responsible for his little sister dying. Or in The Witch, there's this perceived, we've become tainted by virtue of our excommunication from the
pride, or on the girl's side, the baby disappeared on her watch, and so it's there's guilt around that.
The Lighthouse, it's you gave in to your lust with the sea witch or whatever it is. Yeah, there's this through line of here's the reason why, not just generalized repent.
Yeah. So that felt unsatisfying to me. Like I said, it feels like there's a lot of stuff that was really great, and mostly I was disappointed that they didn't do more with it.
Yeah.
And there was plenty of opportunity too, because this movie was so slow and like very staid. And they could have fit in so much more like exposition or setup for really interesting things, and they kind of just went for the mood.
I really love the mood, though. That's the thing that you know, I think you and I differ on.
Right.
I'm a mood guy, and you're not so much. So anyway, so at this point, she loses her fucking mind, and she kills the dad when he shows back up. Just points a gun right at his head, blows it off, and then the kids run away, and seemingly they get in the Jeep and drive off. But
they're spinning their wheels.
You're like, oh, thank God the kids got away. And then it's revealed that they just backed into a snowbank and they can't get the car rolling. And and then the movie cuts to black. So
yeah, but this is the other. I mean, this is all like nitpicky stuff, but it's stuff that. The movie didn't...
It irks you.
It didn't have me suspend my disbelief enough for it not to irk me. The very ending is she has them... Or maybe they just didn't show it, but she has the kids. They're sitting in chairs, and she walks around to put like the duct tape on their mouth that says sin.
Yeah.
And the gun is just laying there on the table, and I'm like, why don't they just reach out?
I know. There's so many moments in this where I was like, just fucking rush her. That boy, that 14-year-old boy, I'm not going to say he could definitely... They're both kind of twiggy. Grace and Aiden are kind of... But it would have been a struggle. They were fairly evenly matched. She was 95 pounds. He was 95 pounds. He's mid-puberty.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? It would have been an even matchup.
And like about 50% of Grace's weight was
boobs, boobies, tits, titties, tig old biddies, machines.
Those machines, man. Yeah, all respect to your cans, lady. I love them.
Yeah. Did you know what other movie we've reviewed that
she was in?
Yeah.
No.
She was in House That Jack Built.
No way.
She was Simple. She was the girl that was kind of his steady girlfriend that he just berated and
when he was
abused.
kind of in his punk phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Good thinking.
I looked at IMDb.
I like the idea that when the dad comes back, he's just expecting. In my mind, I was like, "Hey guys, I brought some Twinkies. How's everybody?" Oh my God! Gets back and everything's.
Yeah.
Like, what were you expecting? Like, I really wanted him to just be like, you know what? I wasn't going to do it, but then I did it. I just went full out. I got checkers. So, you know, everybody, we're going to have a good night. And then just walking into a house of, you know, like.
Don't you get the feeling that this dad is kind of an asshole?
Oh, yeah.
Just like, I don't care. I've got a new piece of tail. I'm just going to go after that. And why? Like, it's not... Their relationship seems good, but I don't know why.
I don't need any explanation on that. There are so many dudes that are like that.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's toxic masculinity. So, final recommendations. Who would like this movie?
I mean, I think it is in the lane of, you know, if you like the dark, family-based movies, like, this is probably worth a watch. It didn't do it for me, but it was really close to delivering on a lot of stuff that I would have liked.
It's a great puzzle.
Yeah, it's a good puzzle. I think, honestly, I would have been like a couple points more if I was in a better mood, you know? It's one of those where... I don't know. I was wanting it to prove itself to me, and it didn't enough. So I was disappointed. If I really, truly went in as, like, no expectations, like, let's just see how this goes, probably would have been able to enjoy it a little more. Because, a lot of the stuff that I have problems with are nitpicky, but...
At this point, if you've been listening for a while, you know what I like. I like the aesthetic, and this is heavy on that, and it's deep in mood and sadness and all that kind of stuff, and that always gets me. I love the sadness. I love the mood, and so Yeah, if those are your bag, this is a great psychological kind of thriller. So, with that, let's get into horror or porno.
Horror porno.
Horror porno is a very fun game that we like to play from time to time where I pose a clip a sound clip from either a horror movie or a porno movie to Bryce, and he has to guess which it is. Is it a horror or is it a porno? And it's a little more difficult than you may guess. Try and play along.
Yeah, a lot of splooshing sounds, like stabbing.
It's hard to
motions.
tell. And
you know, the porn can get pretty dark.
Not just dark, but also diverse.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of lanes. There's a lot of lanes out there in porn.
I think I'm revealing too much at this point, but we were talking about briefly, I brought up eFucked to one of our listeners on Instagram that we were chatting with, which probably wasn't appropriate, but whatever. And I checked last night. I don't go there often, but they had a new clip of it was a zombie rape porn.
Cool.
So these military forces were breaking into this like projects or something, and
that's my fetish.
Clearing each room, and there were zombies that were eating people, but they were also forcing some people to do sexual acts on them.
Sometimes I wonder, am I just a prude? You know, am I just not allowing myself to like these things because I'm hard on myself? And then I hear this, and I'm like, nope.
No,
everyone else is retarded.
See, let me be clear. This is not. I'm not enjoying this sexually so much.
So much.
As I'm enjoying it as how ridiculous it is.
Right. No, I understand. Yeah, I think everybody understands. But I'm just saying, sometimes I'm like, maybe if I give it a shot, you know, maybe I could get off on it. And then every once in a while, I'll give it a shot and be like, no.
Yeah, like all this
real steak and potatoes kind of guy. You know,
this goddamn
maybe
incest
throw
porn.
some backdoor action in there, and I'm good. You know,
and just a little spice.
Just a little spice.
It's just the smells.
Just the smell. Block drain.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of porn gets so weird.
Yeah.
Like, why all the incest all of a sudden? It's like I got an impacted ass full of incest porn.
I don't know what you're talking about. This must be your personal feed. But I can tell you that you're going to have a challenge on this one. I've got some real zingers.
All right, let's go.
Okay, here we go. First clip. Horror or porno? Is this horror or porno? So what do you say, Bryce? Is that a horror movie, or did I do a really good job at specifically removing the music from a horror movie, isolating her scream?
No, I think this is a porn just because it goes on too long.
Oh, too
much of the same thing. I feel like the sounds would switch up in a horror movie because there'd be other stabbings.
That's good. A good line of reasoning. It's good logic. Unfortunately, I knew you were going to do this. So what I did was I isolated a moment from the last door on the left. And if you recall, there's a lot of fucking long scenes of being stabbed and murdered in that. So sorry.
So that was Jennifer Lawrence?
I can't remember. I can't remember. I had to go look. I
can't remember.
Is Jennifer Lawrence is in Last House on the Left? No, that wasn't Jennifer Lawrence. I can tell you that much. Okay. So no, 0 for 1. Here is clip 2. Okay, Bryce. Bonus points if you can name the horror or the porno, by the way.
See, this one doesn't have anything that sounds like sex at all.
Like I said,
it has the generic giant insect sound effect. Feels and dogs barking.
Yeah.
There's nothing porno sounding in this, so it's got to be a horror movie. Probably like an old classic.
I mean, I introed this whole thing specifically because I remembered this clip. I said, porn has a wide breadth. There's something out there for everyone. Rule 34. If it exists, there's porn about it. This is actually a porno. This is Who Let the Dogs Out. Yeah.
Is this like a bootleg porno? Doesn't sound legal.
It's it's in the amateur section. One of my favorite sites to go to is XNXX. XN as in Nancy XX.
Okay.
.com. And that is where I found that fun little ditty. So I'm sorry, it'd be nice if you got like a couple.
Well, I'll try harder.
Okay. So here we have clip number 3. Is this a horror movie or a porno?
Oh, hi.
Hi. I'm going to have to be taking your car today. See, I have some top secret clown business that supersedes any plans that you might have for this here vehicle.
What's that about clown business?
Do I stutter, bitch?
Jamie, get in the car. Lock the door.
Where the hell you going? Damn it. Don't you never turn your back on a fucking clown when he's talking to you.
Fucking hands off of me!
Wow. I think I know this one.
Oh, yeah? You get bonus points if you guess it.
First of all, this is like a great setup for a porn. Which is
this is why it was picked.
I mean, it's so obvious. Clown wants to commandeer your vehicle,
right?
Clowns are funny. They're not in horror movies.
Did I stutter, bitch?
I'm gonna say this is a porno, and it's from House of 1,000 Dildos.
What? Okay, man, you're so close. You are so close. And you even got the inspiration. I mean, the director for the inspiration. No, I'm sorry. This is a horror movie. I'm surprised you didn't get this. This is The Devil's Rejects. How can you? How'd you miss that? I mean, you even got the. I mean, Captain Spaulding. This was Captain Spaulding.
I feel violated.
Yeah. So you were.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was Captain Spaulding from.
That's not. All right. Next
clown.
One. Next one.
Man, doing really bad. Here is clip number 4. Is this a horror or a porno?
Thank you, Daddy.
Is this a horror movie or a porno?
I think this is like. I think I know this one too.
Oh, let's go for it.
This is a horror movie.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this is like the 1930s Dracula.
Wow. Well, you're definitely right. It's a horror movie, but you're way off. This was Come to Daddy, starring Elijah Wood from 2019.
Oh.
Which
Come to Daddy. Dang it was right there.
It was right there, yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Daddy.
Okay, so you're on the board with one.
Okay,
You got to get
one.
get the next two just to tie.
Okay.
All right. So here's clip 5. Is this a horror or a porno?
You'll be all right in a minute.
What do you suppose that is?
She'll
be all right in a minute. She'll be all right in a minute.
I'm like, all meta aside, this is the most horror or porno we've ever played in this. This could, I'm no joke, this could literally be 50-50. Like, it's undiscernible.
I'm good at what I do. What can I say? I appreciate the compliments.
I mean, your first impression is porno, but the squishing sounds don't. Man, that'd be intense if it was in a porno.
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, what are they doing?
But
she'll be all right.
It feels like it could be stabbing or something, but yeah. Oh, okay. It's making a little more sense now. Yes, this is a porno.
Okay. Do you want to venture a guess?
No.
Okay. You are correct. You have 2 points. This is a porno. This is Cum Dumpsters 22. So, bravo.
There you go.
I wouldn't have expected you to keep straight which one this was. I'd have given you the point if you to guess Cum Dumpsters.
Oh, 22 because it's the 22nd, not the year 22.
No, right. Yeah.
Just thinking,
no,
like,
the
you can't go into the future.
No, there have been 22. It's almost like the Hellraiser series. There's a lot of them.
I see.
Okay. So, wow, you're coming back. So, this has 6 clips. This is the 6th clip. So, if you get this last one, you tie. Which I count as a win.
Draw.
Because horror porno is not an easy game. So, this last clip, is this a horror or a porno?
Yeah. Put your fingers in there, too. Put your fingers with his dick in there. Yeah. Stretch that little pussy. Yeah. Finger me while he's fucking me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just love picturing in my head people listening to the podcast on a bus. Just
on
through
speakerphone.
Just through earbuds, just where enough is bleeding through that we're just ruining their day completely.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Put your fingers in there.
Put your fingers with his dick in there. Yeah.
Put your fingers while his dick's in there. Okay. Seems like a hole in one.
It seems like several holes.
Yeah. Seems like there may be a few holes.
Yeah. Seems like several in one hole. Yeah, I mean, I can't. Like, this would be the craziest clip if this was from a horror. It has to be from a porno. I mean, they say, like, pussy and you know, stretch them out and put your finger in there with your dick. Like, what could it possibly be but a porno?
That's a good point. Unfortunately, I've Jedi'd into your mind. I know how you think. This is Frankenhooker from 1990. This is the original splatter porno horror movie that messed me up as a little kid. And to be fair, it is kind of both.
Yeah.
But it's not sold as a porno. It's sold as a horror movie. So it's very in the vein of Trauma, but XXX Throwdown. So I'm sorry, you lose horror or porno, but I think everybody else wins in having heard all these wonderful clips.
I love in that last one. The guy's like, "What?"
Oh wait, yeah, where he's
Yeah. Yeah, put your fingers in there, too. Put your fingers with his dick in there. Yeah. Stretch that little pussy out. Yeah. 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 Finger me while he's fucking me. Yeah.
Huh? Well, I couldn't even hear what she said. Fingernails ripping me?
Finger me while you're fucking me.
Oh. Huh?
Finger me while he's fucking me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is an utterance that happens. I mean, we say that pretty much 4 times a day on this show.
Right.
So, with that, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us here on Horror Movie Talk. We sure do appreciate it, and thank you for supporting the podcast either through Patreon or our Amazon, both of which you can find links to on our site horrormovietalk.com. Up at the top, say become a patron, or buy things on Amazon. If you buy things on Amazon, after clicking that link, we get a little taste, and it does help us out. Also, we're gonna have to do definitely gonna have to do Drain Addict or Porno. For sure. I toyed around with doing that for this episode, but
see, you'd have to find some way to clean up the audio where it pulls out the generator
sounds. Yeah,
it's a dead giveaway.
Or you just throw the easier thing to do would just be throw generator sounds on top of everything.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So, because trust me, isolating people's vocals is not easy. That is thick. Mm-hmm. Also make sure to support local as fuck apparel.com.
Is this a metal thing?
Yes. If you buy any of their apparel, that helps us out, and you get a 10% off of your total order if you enter HMT at checkout. Same thing with Shudder, SHUDDER.com. You enter HMT at checkout, you get 30 free days of streaming horror. Thank you so much to Dustin Goebel at dgoebel00. That's at DGOEBEL00 on Instagram. Check him out. He supports the show, and anytime you buy anything on Horror Movie Talk shop that has been created by Dustin, with the exception of our logo, tickle your dickle. It'll tickle your dickle, and portions of the purchase will go to Dustin directly. So with that, thank you so much for listening. Check out Alex Jones' Prison Planet, where you listen to your music, and we love you very much. Hope you have a great week. Bye bye.
Thank you, Daddy.